Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to this segment of Code Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. Our recitation continues from Surat Mahalla Pehla, compositions of the first Nanak. And this is again 8 verses of 2 lines each. Surat Mahalla Pehla, Do Tuki. The recitation, verse by verse. तू गुणदातो निर्मलो पाई, निर्मल ना मन होय, हम अपराधी निर्गुणे पाई, तुझ ही ते गुण सोय. Addressing the mind again, pai. That one, pointing to the self, the creator, is the source of all virtue. It is indeed immaculate wisdom. Tu Gundata Nirmalo. The problem is the mind. It is the mind that remains impure and bereft of wisdom. Nirmal na man hoy. Because we are offenders without virtue. Without virtue, we are offenders. Hum aparadhi niraguna. Pai, again the mind, we are offenders. Tujh hi te gun soy. Tujh hi te gun soy, that one alone is the source of all virtue. So what you see here is stark humility, an admission to hypocrisy, to a lack of purity, so to speak. In other words, being ego-conditioned. So this is really laying out the shadow side of one's personality. In the reflection, the Guru says, Mere Pritama, my beloved, now addressing the self as the beloved. Tu karta karivek, you are the creator. Karivek, gazing upon your creation. And then, how papi pakhandi pai? Papi, I'm a sinner. In other words, I'm in error. And I'm a pakhandi, I'm a hypocrite. My head and heart are not lined up. What you see is not what you get. Manatan Nam Visek, my body and mind is bereft of wisdom. So Karta Karvek is a reminder of divine eminence and divine guidance that is ever watchful and compassionate. It connects with the second line here with a degree of self-awareness that admits of faults. That is the first step. You have to be able to admit to being off track. So an honest admission frames the spiritual practice as a journey of returning to the divine, to the Creator, to its compassionate grace. Stanza 2, Bikha Maya Chit Mohaya Pai. That's the problem, my brother mind. I am deluded by the poison of Maya. Chaturai Patakoi. And through cleverness, I have forfeited my dignity, the dignity of being human. Chit meh Thakur sach vasai pai. My mind, within your consciousness, the eternal master abides, but is perceived only when Gur wisdom is assimilated. Chitta meh Thakur sach vasai, je Gur gyan samoi. So Maya is the poison. Poison meaning illusions that we create through our distorted perceptions, unconscious projections, and through our compulsive attachments. That's Maya, essentially. So this is at bottom cognitive distortion that we are afflicted with. And chaturai patakoi. To make matters worse, we adopt cleverness as an ego strategy, manipulation tactics for survival, taking advantage of others. While that may carry you socially up to a point, it undermines your inner dignity and integrity. Because the psyche senses the hollowness of that kind of behavior. And the Thakur, the Sabad says, already abides in your consciousness. So why adopt manipulative strategies outside? So allow the wisdom of the Guru to penetrate and to be assimilated. What is being said here is that the mind, left to itself, is trapped in illusions and cleverness. So that's the surface. We need to go beneath this turmoil to a deeper, truer self. Stanza 3. Rudo, rudo akhiye pai, rudo lal chalul, je man harsyon bairagiye pai, dar kar sachiya phool. Rudo, rudo akhiye. Rudo means beautiful, wondrous. My brother mind, we call what is beautiful, beautiful. But rudo lal chalul, the crimson radiance, meaning the radiance of the self, the wondrous self, the beauty of the self, is experienced only when one is suffused with love. Rudo lal chalul. How does that happen? By disentangling the mind from worldly attachment. Je man harsyon bairag. We talked about bairag, non-attachment. That is a prerequisite. When the mind is disentangled and devoted to the Har Self, Je man harsyo bairagya, then dar ghar sacho abhul. Abhul is unfailing, the one that never forgets. That truth shines forth. So what we call beautiful through the senses is only sense deep. It's superficial. So the true beauty of being dyed in the red of love is a metaphor for being passionate about the self. And bairag is what is required, not cold withdrawal, but inner freedom from the pull of external objects. And that is when the mind is free from illusion and becomes dyed in authentic love. It doesn't have to do anything. It simply has to disentangle itself. Stanza 4. Patali akas tu pai, kar kar tu gun gyan, gur miliye sukh paya pai, chuka manho guman. O brother mind, that one is all pervasive in the nether regions and the skies. Patali akasatum. Ghar ghar tu gun gyan. In every home, it is present as wisdom and virtue. What that means is home here refers to the heart. And the heart is the seat of your consciousness. The Guru is saying that all pervasive self is everywhere. It is in your consciousness. And it sits in your consciousness as wisdom and as virtue. How do you find it? Guru mile sukh paya. That experience of well-being, of bliss, comes through knowledge, the right knowledge. And the right knowledge will enable you to dispel your I mind, I pride, ego pride. So the divine is not limited, but suffuses the cosmos. It's transpersonal. It's in you as well. It is intimate. And the Guru is the mediator of that insight that you need. And the fruit of this encounter is disillusion of guman, pride. So it's an expansion of vision that enables you to see that the sacred pervades everywhere. Every psyche carries within it seeds of that wisdom and virtue. So essentially, we have to break our narcissistic psychological structures, which are built around exaggerations of self-importance, of dependence on external validation. And like guman, pride, it is fragile. The structure is very fragile. And Gurbani is warning us that as long as this pride is alive, this inflation is alive, the person cannot see the indwelling self. It's hubris. Stanza 5. Jal malakaya manjiye pai, bhi mela tan hoye, Gyan maharas naiye pai, man tan nirmal hoye. My brother mind, even if the body was scrubbed with water, it remains essentially impure. Because there is no such thing as purity of the body. It can be clean, but not pure, in the sense that Gurbani uses the word pure. Only by bathing in the great nectar of wisdom, the Guru says, Gyan maharas naiye, manatan nirmal hoye, that the mind and body are made truly pure, because the mind rules the psyche. So ritual baths, bodily cleansing are simply outward representations and don't carry you very far. Guru Nanak repeats this over and over again. That, in fact, is one of his major critique. Wisdom is the real cleansing agent. It is transformative knowledge. It's not just information. It is insight, intuitive insight that penetrates all of these unconscious illusions that we harbor, and it restructures our fragile psyche. So the purity of the mind is actually linking mind and body. They have to come together. So just like bathing cleans the body, mindfulness bathes awareness. Stanza 6. Devi deva pujiye pai, kya mango kya de, pahan neer pakhaliye pai, jal meh budhe te. Now here, another practice is being critiqued, that of idol worship. Idolatry. My brother mind, one may worship goddesses and gods, meaning idolatry. Devi deva pujiye pai. What can they grant, he's saying, and what can they give? Kya mango kya de? Pahan neer pakhaliye. Jal meh budhe te. A stone, because idols are stones, washed with water, still sinks into that very water. So what can they give us? So what the Guru is saying, that mindfulness practice, direct awareness of experience, not mechanical rituals like the washing of stone deities. Therapy is inside, through knowledge. That is what will break your dependencies. The 7th verse, Gurbin alakhana lakhiye pai, jag bude pat khoye, mere ठाकुर हाथ वडियाइयां, जे पावे ते दे. Mere ठाकुर हाथ वडियाइयां pai, je पावे ते दे. My brother, without the Guru, you cannot perceive what is unseen. And the world sinks because it cannot see. And what they don't realize is that all greatness lies in the hands of the master, who cannot be perceived through the senses. Alak, formless, beyond sensory perception. So this is the transpersonal self that sits in you as your awareness. And if you want to perceive it, Gurbin na lakhiye, the necessity of wisdom, of Gur wisdom, of knowledge, the right knowledge, intuitive knowledge. Jagabude patakhoe, the world loses its dignity, so to speak, because it doesn't know the way. And the greatness, all the virtue, all the qualities that we seek are in the hands of that unseen master. The concluding verse, Biare bolle meethali pai, sach kahe pir pae, birhe bevdi sachvasi pai, adik rahi haranai. Now the Guru speaks about the bride mind, the bride soul. It speaks sweetly, uttering out of love for her divine husband. It is pierced by longing. She dwells in truth and remains ever absorbed in wisdom. That is the aspiration that we should all have, is to become a bride of the divine. This is mystical language. The soul is the bride in love with the divine as the husband. This imagery is really the ego-self relationship, if you will. The ego, the bride, seeks its own wholeness in the self, the husband. And the journey is marked by longing, by love, by surrender. So sweet speech is a necessary determinator in order to be congruent in all of your senses. So the deepest transformation comes not from certainty, but from longing. Stanza 9, I stand corrected. There are 2 more, 9 and 10. Sabko aakhe apna pai, gurte budhe sujan, jo bide so ubare pai, a-sabad-a-day nisan. My brother, everyone speaks in their own way, but only through the Guru does the wise one truly understand. Those who are pierced by the word of the Guru, by wisdom, that is the true standard. They are embossed with the true standard. So we naturally interpret reality through the lens of our ego, but the Guru is the principle of objective wisdom. In conclusion, Idan adik sake liye pai, pavak ranchak pai, khin pal naam hriday vase pai, nanak milan savai. You may heap up large amounts of wood, Idan adik sake liye, but only when touched by fire does it burn. Pavak ranchak pai, even a little bit of fire, a little bit of knowledge, wisdom. Kinpala nama hriday vase. So even similarly, even if for a moment the wisdom of the self comes to abide in your heart, union will come naturally. In other words, it'll catch fire. So you may pile up wood, but it is inert. It is potential without transformation. That's what we are. And this symbolizes the accumulation of rituals, knowledge. It remains lifeless unless ignited. Rituals will take you nowhere unless you ignite them with the fire of wisdom, awareness. And that transformation can happen in a flash. And then union or oneness or integrity or dignity will come naturally. It will unfold spontaneously. That is also what is called Sahaj in Gurbani. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh.